Hey everyone, it's your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Welcome back to the channel. And I wanted to open up this can of worms a little bit. I don't know how crazy it's going to be, but we've had this discussion in our live streams and we've talked about this previously. And Spider-Man's a huge success. Open world, even the Arkham games, obviously it lends itself to these types of characters. Batman and Spider-Man work really well in this kind of open world environment. Now, I will always say, and this is a digression, this isn't the topic of this video, story is key. Story is so important. A narrative drive and a narrative through line is super, super important. Now, I'll get off that because you've seen the title of the video and I know that what you want to talk about because you're here. But one of the most requested heroes for a game, and our polls, our Discord, our live streams, it all proves it, is Daredevil. Daredevil is the most requested character for a solo title, and there is currently no Daredevil game in development. Now, Daredevil Born Again is premiering next spring on Disney+. That's spring 2024. Charlie Cox, Vincent D'Onofrio, a whole huge cast, and I'm not going to spoil anything here. But anyway, huge, big event series. Daredevil's going to be back in the spotlight. Hopefully something comes of it, but the fastest way for something to come from it is for fans to generate interest and to show that there is an audience there. Because first and foremost, there has to be enough people to buy it. There has to be enough people to warrant the budget of creating an open world Daredevil game that has him in, gritty New York and exploring. Now, a lot of people have said the Spider-Man game is a great basis. Why won't Insomniac do it? Use the same New York. And again, assets and all this kind of work, it is potentially possible. But Insomniac currently has shown no interest in it. They're doing Wolverine, they're doing Spider-Man. They've shown no interest in also producing Daredevil as of the recording of this video. And there is no Daredevil game in development currently, again, as of the recording of this video. So as we look at the future of Marvel, what they're developing, what they're working on, and a couple of untitled Marvel games that are about to go into production that we don't have any information on. And again, playing devil's advocate, yes, one of them could be Daredevil, but we don't know. They're untitled Marvel games that are about to go into production. That's all anyone knows. We could speculate on the handful of heroes that make the most logistical sense. We'd probably end up being right on who those titles are. But again, I digress. One of the biggest arguments or biggest debates, I don't want to say arguments, that's not the right word, but one of the biggest debates is Daredevil can't hold a game because he doesn't have enough robust villains. I'm probably going to get the phrasing wrong on some of your comments because I don't have them right in front of me. I don't have any of those live streams right in front of me to see all your comments, but there was a debate on whether or not there were enough Daredevil villains to warrant a game title. And I thought that was an interesting conversation that could warrant something isolated to just get the perspective of potential buyers, consumers, and fans. Does Daredevil have enough villains for a video game? Who would be the best villain choices for a solo Daredevil title? Now, working with the Daredevil license, we could hope and assume that Marvel would allow other villains and characters to be a part of a Daredevil game. Because, yes, Daredevil does have a limited pool. Daredevil's biggest villain, of course, is Kingpin, but Wilson Fisk is also a really big Spider-Man villain. And we've already seen Kingpin in 2018 Spider-Man. We see Kingpin kind of everywhere in the Marvel Universe. He was in Ultimate Alliance 3 as well. But he is a known character and very beloved in the Daredevil universe. Then there is Bullseye, there is Elektra, and this is where I want to turn it over to you. Because, and now again, I'm staring at a Wikipedia page, and maybe you'll cheat maybe you'll cheat and, not be fair in the comments. But from here, I want to know, besides those three, who are Daredevil villains? And again, answer without searching this up. And hopefully you do, because otherwise you skew the results and you manipulate the test margins. This isn't like, this is YouTube, and this is kind of a blank canvas, if you will. This isn't like marketing I've been a part of before. You put someone in a room, they don't have any electronic devices, you ask them questions and they answer. This is very, very different because I have to take your word that you're not searching it up, but it's interesting to me. And so hopefully, you will answer truthfully and honestly. But besides the 3 characters I've named, who are Daredevil villains? And again, what works as game mechanics? What villains work in game? Now, this is where I want to go. This is the conversation I want to go towards, because I know what's interesting to me is based off live streams, based off your, actual comments, there is the average consumer anyway. The people who aren't picking up every comic, who haven't been reading comics since the 60s. And I love Marvel, and I couldn't name a lot of Daredevil or Daredevil-centered villains. I'm going to be as vague as possible because, I had to search it up. Now, again, my Marvel fandom, my big Marvel corner was centered around Spider-Man and the X-Men, and we all come from, to the Marvel fandom differently. We all have our favorites that we're drawn to as kids, and when I was younger, that's what I was drawn to, Spider-Man and the X-Men. I love Daredevil. I have a couple of Daredevil, I have a handful of Daredevil comics. I think I'll be fair and say it that way, but the villains in it, well, again, I'll save that for a sequel video, but I'll at least say Kingpin and Bullseye both feature in the comic that I have. So it just goes to show you, what's really recognizable. And I'm sure the movies and shows probably didn't help either. Like it puts those characters at the forefront. So my hope is to have a part 2 to this video, that we generate a conversation in the comments and in the Discord. I really, really hope we do, and go from there and talking about, that a Daredevil game can work. Because besides all of this, I 100% truly believe a Daredevil game can work. I think there are enough villains to pull from in the Marvel universe, whether it's Daredevil-centered villains or what's a fair phrase? Third-party villains that kind of can be anyone's villain. Sort of like how Kingpin's a lot of people's villain, but so anyway, it works. It works. Now, so and also, if you have the time, I'd also like to know, when you name these villains, what kind of gameplay mechanics and bosses you see them as, and then we'll work on a part 2 and maybe in a part 3, depending on how this keeps going. But I know that there is a drive and a passion for a Daredevil game. I'm right there with you. I really do believe it could work and be successful. It just, again, like everything else, it has to be high quality. They have to come out, with literally putting out their best material in terms of licensing and adaptation. They have to really have their heart in it. And if Insomniac doesn't have their heart in it and doesn't want to make a Daredevil game, then obviously they shouldn't be the ones to do it. You want a team that isn't being forced to do this by a publisher or by a licensor saying, no, you have to make this title, this character at this time. You don't want that. You don't want a check mark. You don't want to be like, oh yeah, it's this, and let's get this out. You want it passionate. You want it driven. So thank you so much for watching and commenting. And above all else, and most importantly, stay safe, take care of others, and have a marvelous day. Bye, everyone.